Take a knife out of my chest. Took time to know the rest. Some say I was the best. Either or, I took the test. 13:36 in the afternoon. It was soon. 13:36 by kitchen harpoon. There's a dime knife in my chest. Pull it out so I can rest. I let the pussy there. Hope it wasn't spared. I was gonna die in the ring next year. Does that sound too sincere? Tired of rhyming philosophy. Chevrolet spark, smoke, napkins, reverie. I'm in tune, am I in tune? I think it's two. Shaking my spear, gathering clouds out of premiere. Is it fake or is it queer? New beginnings and it's near. I left the pussy there. Hope it wasn't too sincere. Had to take it to the island fear. Does it sound like I'm fear? Stop cracking on, so I can finish off. Stop whacking on, so I can finish off. 13:36 is near. 13:36 is near. 13:36. It was on the corner report. My time to death. 13:36 is near. 13:36 is near. Pen and stone, not a stick. Behind a stone, not a stick. 13:36, 13:36, 13:36 in the afternoon.
Swallows. Ooh, yeah, the mother bird must be back. She had about four, or those could be the fledglings. I'm not for sure. They're probably returning here. But the mother bird actually had quite a few. Rod Serling's patterns. So this found on Cowboy Tombstone says 5 rules for men to follow for a happy life. It's important to have a woman who helps at home, cooks, has a job. It's important to have a woman who can make you laugh. It's important to have a woman that you can trust and doesn't lie to you. It's important important to have a woman who's good in bed and likes to be with you. It's very, very important that these 4 women do not know each other, or you could end up dead like me. They got really nice prints in there, and that was really funny. That little thing auctioned off like $170. There's like different ones for like $150. You have to write your information down and get the auction down on it. So I do like 2 cases. What I do is I put this down and I use this cloth right here on this thing right here. And I got the second case, which is in here. And I do this right here. I take these 2, I tie them together, just like that. There's a reason I do that. Have these right here. Looks like a really good restaurant if you like Greek food. Bluetooth's about to kick in though. But anyway, it's right about there. Tzatziki's. Nolan O'Ryan is probably the only pitcher that has broke records in a no-hitter for many, many seasons. Also, a great commercial actor for Whataburger. So I went to Fuzzy's, and basically it's not a forever refill. It's $1.39, so they charge you half for the refill. I got a burrito. Thought that tree was pretty cool right there. So this is kind of the area, Richland Hills, called Hometown, which is a brand new kind of area. How's it going? Rant. Rant. Anyway, it's a new area in Richland Hills. It's called Hometown. That road right there is called Mimosa, Sherbert. There it is. There, Hometown. Pretty cool. If you look way down there, it's irrigation. It's Texas Irrigation. They say now hiring. I've probably seen about maybe 30 now hiring signs. So last hour or so, maybe more than that. There's a lot of those in North Richland Hills that are coming up. Johnny Cash, David Bowie. That one was the Beatles. It looks like some artists just went around and basically did really commercial style prints on some of these structures that are for it has to do with the electrical units, some kind of casing that you see on the side of the street that might be for like a breaker box or whatever. But it's a little Shepherd Ferry somewhere in North Richland Hills doing this stuff. So yeah, Richland Hills is kind of growing. It looks a little different than when I was a kid. There's construction going on like right here, but it looks pretty different. Like there wasn't a lot of this kind of stuff like that in North Richland Hills. This is headed towards Watauga. You got more construction over there. So it looks like they're doing kind of a reconstruction of some of North Richland Hills area. You can see another house being built right there. These little haystack things that people have sometimes. It's real popular now in people's yards. Also, palm is coming, so there's the palm trees being planted. That's cool. It says Big Red. It's got a fire extinguisher to the left and to the right. So it's funny, Jinx was like, man, we can fight them. We can fight them. And they were pulling up like right, beside us. It was actually on the other side. And I had already turned around. I was like, no, these guys are crazy. And they were all like on meth. And another rebel was in the car. These three chicks were like, what's going on? My friend Westbrook, they threw a bottle through the window, hit him in the head with the beer bottle. We finally got to the Whataburger, which is right up here. And I just went in there, and there was a cop in there eating, I guess waiting for his order or whatever. I was like, these guys are throwing bottles. I mean, everybody in the car, all the punks that were in the car at the time wanted to fight. They were trying to convince me, but it was a Cavalier. I was in a Cavalier Chevrolet. Coming back from a club called the Stark Club or something similar. Leave a comment. It's in Dallas. I used to call it the Starch Club because everyone wore starch that was in there. It's a club that like David Bowie had been to, Tina Turner had been there, Whitney Houston, I think. A lot of Mick Jagger supposedly had been in there. It's a Dallas club. That's the Whataburger right there. It was like after about 1 o'clock in the morning or 2 o'clock in the morning. And the guy that was throwing the bottles, he was arrested probably like right around there. That place it makes gin. Place makes gin. This is actually a true story. When I was about 15, I was a skateboarder, and we hung out with other skaters. And our manager, we had a manager that we sold candy bars. So we sold these candy bars. That LA Fitness, where that KFC is over there, that was a putt-putt golf. And some skinheads got mad at one of our candy bar salesman people, and they went after this young black kid. And our manager stood in front of him, and the skinhead jumped off the truck, bashed the manager in the head with this big ring that he had, and an ambulance was called, and he nearly bled to death. And that happened right over there on the other side of that KFC. I was about 15, and they drove off in a pickup truck. There were 3 skinheads. One of them ended up a Marine and got in a motorcycle accident later on in life. Someone's dog collar. Happened right there. That KFC right there. Well, it wasn't a KFC at the time. It was actually a Church's Chicken at the time in 89 or 1988 or somewhere in that area. And it was a putt-putt golf right next to it. City of Hearst, right at the borderline. There will be cunts. I guess barrels. There will be barrels. Not mistaken, that could be the Wendy's. That was my first job ever, but I don't remember it being this far down on Roof Snow. So that is where I first worked when I was 15. My grandma told me to go in there and lie about my age and say, you know, just tell them you're older. And they did hire me for the summer. Here is where they had Tippins, the Dickies now, about to pass it. That's basically, was it Tippins? I worked there too. I got mad at the manager. I dumped over the garbage, and then I went home. You know, he let me go. He's like, yeah, I don't think you're ready for waiting tables. I was still a teenager. And I knocked over the garbage, and when I got home, I thought
approaching a railroad crossing.
And so I went ahead and decided to go back and, you know, like pick it up and clean it up when it wasn't. That was the Whataburger where the Hicks try to beat us up. Next to that was a Tippins. Next to that Wendy's back there, it was a Tippins. I worked there for a while, and I was a teenager. The guy told me, he said, you know, you're not ready yet, but I promise the next time you wait tables, you'll be ready then. So I got mad, and some like teenager girls worked there. I guess they were kind of hot. So I went home. Well, actually, when I was leaving, I knocked over the back alley garbage can. And when I got home, I thought about it. I thought that was wrong, so I went back and I cleaned it up, even though it wasn't even working there anymore. It's pretty funny. And then right next to that was a Whataburger where those guys tried to beat us up. Or the Hicks tried to beat us up. There's a lot of people, they're, you know, indoors and they're playing video games and they're real scared. And they're really like Taco Bell. They really like Taco Bell. You know, the only person that could probably touch Elliott Smith nowadays that's still around is probably Anna DeFranco. And Anna DeFranco's skill to ratio exposure is different. You know, Elliott's skill exposure ratio is kind of out of whack. And I would say the same about Anna DeFranco. That road back there was Holiday Lane, and there was a cup you could buy at like a gas station, and you know you could just buy the cup for a certain amount of money, and you could just go into that gas station and just you could get like a lot of you just get whatever, you know, like a drinkage, you know, you just get your drink, you know, soda, whatever, some tea, just whatever you want. That's Davis right there. And you could do that. That guy likes me, or that person or female or family or Walt Disney people. It was time, you know, you go in there and get a drink, and now it's not Fuzzies. So I'm listening to Audible, and Matthew McConaughey started off with a little book called Green Lights. Pretty interesting, listening to it. So Matthew McConaughey packed up his journals, went to solitary confinement in the desert, and wrote his creative memoir, which is kind of interesting, a little Shakespeare-y, you know. I listened to it, you know, he's using some poetical kind of approach, kind of a little rogue. It's amazing, these actors, that they sometimes really can write. You know, like Robert Shaw wrote all these books. He was in Jaws, the guy that catches the shark, or wants to catch the shark. He actually gets eaten by the shark. But Robert Shaw was a big writer. He was a big novelist. He written all these novels and stuff. So a lot of actors can go off and do that. Thomas Wolfe, who wrote Look Homeward Angel, he really wanted to be an actor. That was one of the things I heard. He just, you know, tried to write plays. He tried to get into it. It just wasn't like his niche at the time. But it's amazing, you know, writing. It's different. It's a different kind of mechanism. It's very, 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 very strenuous. You know, because I've written maybe like, you know, 10 stabs at different books, short stories, you know, 50 plays or something. I don't know. A lot of short plays, and, you know, a lot of screenplays and stuff. Actually, I'm working on one that was a fighting film that's turning into a werewolf film. But it's amazing that, you know, the actor can just kind of sit there and do that, you know, because you got to realize, an actor takes a paragraph or just a little bit of dialogue, and they commit that to memory. You know, I remember back, you know, when we were doing Shakespeare, you know, it's How All Occasions Do Inform Against Me, Inspire My Dull Revenge kind of thing. You just kind of commit a rhythm to basically memory.
Bye.